Thanks for doing this, Miss Carly. What is your earliest memory?
My earliest memory. That's the one I was thinking about first. That's kind of hard to remember. Let me think. I guess my earliest memory would be probably lots of playing Barbies in my basement. My parents, we moved when I was about 6. We moved to a new house, and our basement was unfinished, and so we got to have a whole room full of all of our Barbie stuff, and it was so amazing, and we made towns out of them, and it was super, super fun. So that was probably one of my earliest memories.
That's great. Do you have any smells that give you a memory?
Let's see. I would say vanilla gives me a memory. It makes me think about my grandma, because she always used to make cookies for us. She still does. And vanilla was one of the ingredients. And so every Sunday we go to her house and she always has those same cookies. So that's it.
How old were you when you started cooking with Grandma?
I remember not cooking with her, but being around when she's baking and cooking, probably when I was 5. I would make forts in her house, and she would let us play and just take over the whole living room and make forts. And she would bring us cookie dough, and we would watch TV and eat cookie dough and junk food, and it was just super awesome, super fun to be with Grandma because she spoiled us.
That's great. And I forgot to ask, how old were you when you had all the Barbies in the basement?
Around that age, like
Around
5 or
5?
6, yep.
That's fun. Do you have any memories or have a memory about school?
Yes, I do. Mostly in elementary school, my memories are that I had great teachers, but I was a major, major worrier. So I had major anxiety, and I would freak out about little things, and it stressed me out to like take a quiz or something like that, because I would worry, what if I saw somebody's paper, or what if this or that? I just would worry so much. So that was kind of an obstacle that I had to overcome when I was in elementary school, for sure. It was a great experience overall, but it was my own personal obstacle that I had to deal with.
Do you remember how old you were when you had so many worries?
I think it started in 2nd grade, because I told on myself in 2nd grade, because I thought I maybe cheated, and I didn't. But it would, like, looking back now, I can say, yeah, I didn't do that. It was one of those things where you accidentally see somebody's paper, but I was so anxious that I was like, oh my gosh, what if I saw it? What if I took their answer? That type of thing.
Gotcha. Did you have a nickname growing up, and who called you that?
I did. My nickname was Bugs, B-U-G-S, which was kind of funky. My grandpa gave it to me. He had a nickname for everybody in our family, pretty much. I have no idea why it was that name, but that's just what it was, and that's what stuck with me until I was like a teenager, and I started saying, oh, I don't really like that so much. But he called me that, my dad called me that, but mostly my grandpa, I would say.
Oh, that's great. How old were you when he called you that?
As long as I can remember.
Okay, so 5 to teenage.
Yeah,
huh?
for sure.
Wow. What's a place where you were really happy, and
Place
why?
where I was really happy. Like a location, you mean?
Yep, any place.
I have to go back to Grandma's house because she spoiled us, and we loved playing there. We got to play anything we wanted. She lived near us, but out in the country, so we'd go on the tramp. We would go to the barn and play in the barn. We'd pet the kitties. We'd make forts. We would eat cookie dough. Everything was just so awesome at Grandma's
Oh,
house.
that's fun. Is that still when you were around 5 or 6?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
wow.
we still live next to them like my parents do. So growing up, Grandma's house was always right next door, and it was super fun to go there.
Sweet. What was something that you kept for a long time, or wish that you kept from when you were a kid?
Ooh, that's a good one. Something that I kept for a long time. I kept my eye masks. This is kind of odd, but when I was like maybe 10, I had $5 saved. Like, I never saved more than $5. I just spent it always. and I went to Claire's and I bought an eye mask like that you wear at night. And ever since then, I've worn them. So I have like all of them from when I was younger, and they're all stretched out and old, and you can't even use them anymore, but I still have a whole bunch of them.
That's funny. And then 2 more questions. What was a challenge that you overcame, and how old were you?
I'd have to go back to just being super anxious at school. And what was the question? What was the challenge, and what else?
What was the challenge that you overcame, and how old were you?
Okay, so I would say 2nd grade. I had that all through middle school.
Okay.
So that was like a long period
And
where
now
I
you're
was
a
just
teacher.
really
How'd-
anxious.
How'd you get over that?
Honestly, it took a lot. Like, I think a lot of it was growing in my faith, and a lot of it was kind of coaching myself through it. And I had very supportive family that helped me through a lot of that too. Just parents that were willing to tell me it's okay over and over, and that did it. That made a big difference.
And my last question for you is, what advice would you give to children today?
To children today, I would say go outside, have fun, always do your very, very best, and work really hard.
That's great. Thank you so much, Miss Carly.
You're welcome.
All right.